If you reach your limit, you can't help anyone else. So you've got to put yourself first. Putting yourself first sounds selfish, but it is necessary because if you don't do it, you can't help anyone else. Real women take care of everyone, right? We take care of our families, we take care of business, we take care of our clients, everyone, right? Our pets, but then we neglect ourselves. And that's where the danger comes in. If you don't take care of yourself, you get so exhausted, you won't know what to do. You reach a breaking point. And today we're going to talk about that. You're a wife, a mom, a girlfriend, a sister, anyone, caregiver. You are taking care of other people many times. And a lot of the times we forget about ourselves and then we begin to have anxiety. And that anxiety can lead to major frustration. And then we get tired. Once you hit that breaking point, you really cannot perform the way you wish when you're trying to help people or trying to be effective. You've taken a flight, right? One of the first things they tell you when you take a flight, you're talking about the oxygen mask. And the first thing they say is to take that mask and put it on yourself, right? And that sounds selfish initially. People say, well, why would that be? Well, the reason is if you pass out, you cannot breathe, other people will suffer. Your child will suffer, or the person sitting next to you who needs your help, they will suffer. So you have to put that mask on yourself, do that self care first, take care of yourself so that you can build strength to not only take care of you, but to take care of those you love. And that's what I'm talking about today. There are so many of us who are caregivers, we are wives, we are good friends, and we're so busy. We have our own careers, we are busy, but then you get to a point where you feel exhausted because you've been running on autopilot that whole time. You have tasks, you do them. And then you forget about yourself. And then when you get so exhausted, you melt down and you want to pull back. And that's not good because then you're not being helpful to the project that you're working on. You're not being helpful to that friend or that family member that you are taking care of, especially if you are in a household, you have children, you have a husband, even if you have your pets, you can begin to neglect really important things if you don't take care of yourself. So these are just a few tips today that will help you deal with that and help you keep your joy and keep your energy. First, you can only do what you can do. Only take on what you can handle. And if you can't handle that alone, you ask for help. You do this thing first, and then you move on to that. You don't have to do everything all at once because when you do, sometimes as like perfectionists, right? And none of us are perfect right now, okay? Sometimes you just want to do everything and you want to multitask. You know when they say you should be able to multitask? Multitasking is actually really counterproductive and it's tiresome and it's exhausting mentally because you're not focusing. I'm taking care of this. I also have to take care of mom. I have to take care of my husband. I'm doing all this. I have to clean this house, or I have to sign, do this and that. This is where I assign things. If I can't handle taking care of my house, like the cleaning and so forth, I will get someone to help me. Get some help. Hire someone to help you one day a week, whatever, to take care of your house. And then that way, that's kind of off of your shoulders. And then you can focus on other things and be more effective in those things. So when you assign tasks in your office and business, whatever, you need to not over exhaust yourself. or you need to not exhaust yourself at all. Do what you can do when you can do it. If it's something that you cannot control, do not keep that weight on your shoulders. You just stop and think about, what is it that I can control? What can I truly do in this situation? What can I really help this person with? If you cannot help, you'll have to find someone who can. Because if you just try to do it yourself and then you don't do as good a job, or you can't help that person the way they need, it doesn't really benefit either side. So it's okay to reach out for help. Always reach out for help. Someone else who may have more, it may be like more of their expertise, or they've gone through that situation. Ask their advice. That is always something. We need to be more humble and ask people for advice, because when we don't, we're weighing ourselves down. And nothing efficient will come out of that. You have to look out for yourself. You have to look out for your mental health, because if you're not a machine, if you don't take care of yourself, the rest doesn't even matter, because it's going to get to a point where you will break. Said that, you want to dedicate some time just to yourself. When you have a lot on your plate, everyone's busy in this world, right? But when you have a lot on your plate, please designate some time to yourself. Take yourself to lunch. Take yourself a nice bath. I've spoken about this before. Close off from everyone and take that time to yourself. There is nothing selfish about that. It shows that you love yourself enough to take care of yourself. Take care of the life that God gave you. And that is okay. It's more than okay. You have to think about, what are some of the things that I need? Don't always wait for someone else to do it. Take care of yourself. You want to give yourself the big hug. What would I do for someone else? Well, I'm going to do that for me. I'm going to make sure that my health is good. And don't forget my medical appointments. Sit back and read. If that's something that calms you, you go and read. Sit down and watch your favorite nice, calm and enjoyable comedy, or whatever it is that you like, that really kind of calms you down. Something that is really important. And a lot of us, we neglect to do it well, and that's getting plenty of sleep. We need to get like 7 hours of sleep. I don't know about 8. I don't think that's really necessary. And a lot of people, we can't do that. But living on the 3 and 4 hours of sleep, because we are so busy, because we have to take care of this and that, that's where our body starts telling us, I can't do this anymore. And you start getting frustrated, you start getting angry, you lash out at people that you care about because you're tired. You're frustrated with yourself. Then you don't take care of yourself. Must get a good night's sleep. And that's every night, in my opinion. Sometimes things happen and you can't. But your regular schedule, you need to get a good night rest. And that needs to be your determination, because that's like really repairing a lot that's in our bodies. It's repairing our mind, and it's helping us to just rejuvenate and be ready the next day, whatever the next day is going to bring. You ever think about, like, when you get a good night's sleep, right? Versus when you barely got any sleep. You wake up from a good night's rest and you feel like, I'm ready to take on anything, because you feel so good. Your body feels so good. That's because it has repaired itself through the night, emotionally, mentally. Not saying that, you wake up and you're bouncing, and aches or whatever aren't there, but they don't feel as bad because you got a good night's rest. and it makes you more positive. You're taking care of yourself, and you want to make sure you eat properly, eat well, eat healthy things. Don't just eat on the go, grabbing a Coke, some junk food or whatever, because I don't have time to eat. I got to go and take care of everybody else. Got to take care of this thing for work. Of course, we're busy, but you have to sit and take a moment and eat your meal. That is your time to take care of yourself. Sit and eat your meal. Even if you are alone, go somewhere and eat lunch. If you're at home, just make a lunch. Sit down at the table and eat. Don't sit down while you're doing that. Guilty, sometimes I do it, okay? But then I find out when I do that, I do find that I'm rushed and I'm feeling so frustrated. I can't wait for the day to be over. And that's not really productive. And then I don't want to help anybody else because I feel like my whole day is just consumed and cluttered. And then that brings the frustration and it keeps you mentally exhausted and it makes you get a headache and all of those things. That's not taking care of yourself. All of these things will really prevent you from having burnout. And burnout is just something that is no good. Because then, if you had a project going on, but you're too tired, you put it on the back burner because you're burnt out. And then you never achieve anything. And then you're frustrated. You're sad. You're crying. You're angry at people. You're angry at yourself. You don't get anything done. The point is made. First, looking out for ourselves, we want to make sure that we get plenty of rest, that we eat well, you get exercise, you take care of yourself, you give yourself that emotional oxygen mask, okay? You take care of you so that you are strong and beautiful and powerful for anyone else that needs assistance in your life, your loved ones, people that you work with. You approach your jobs better. You approach your whole life better. Your spiritual aspect is better because you're not burnt out. You don't have to feel like you have to take on everything alone and do everything at once. Multitasking is not good. This is my opinion, and I know that a lot of us were raised on that. You should be able to multitask. You can have multiple things in your books, right? But you can only handle one thing at a time. Everything else is not going anywhere. Now, if there are emergencies and situations where you may need to just like you're doing this and then this thing here also helps you, we're not saying that. We're not saying neglect something. But a lot of the times we think we're super women or supermen. Guys are watching, and some guys do watch you and I watch me, and I really do appreciate you guys. But when you are just trying to handle too much at once, you get nothing done. And then you're burnt out and you lose interest. So you want to just take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. And then you'll find that you have more joy in whatever it is that you have to do. So just think about that. It's really important. It's just the little things that we may not think about, but just stopping, taking care, taking a breather. You know what? I need a minute. Okay? Because people can pull at you from all angles. You're just one person. I need a minute. I'm going to call you back tomorrow. Is that okay? I'll call you later this evening. I just need to take care of something, but if it's not urgent, I'll get back to you with that. Finish what you were doing. You can always call people back. When someone calls you, unless it is an emergency, you do not have to be on that phone call with them if you do not feel like talking at that moment. If you were in the middle of something, it is okay to say, I'm going to get back to you. I'm glad to hear from you, but If it's okay, can I contact you back? Can I call you back in a few hours? Is that okay? Or I'll call you tomorrow? You know, that's okay. You don't let people guilt trip you either, because that happens, because you have to take care of yourself, because other people are taking care of themselves. That's why they're pushing it off on you. So take care of yourselves so you can be happy. You can feel good inside. So you can feel good about you, because when you feel good and you reach out and you want to help other people, they will appreciate you so much, because you're not approaching it, half-heartedly, right? Because you're probably known as someone who is really helpful to everyone. You're helpful to everyone but yourself. So we're going to stop that. We're going to look out for ourselves and be kind to ourselves, because that's where it starts. Love and kindness starts within, and then it exudes out to other people. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I hope you guys really got what I was saying, and I hope it helped you, because we're all in these types of situations. Life is so hectic, but we just need to stop and take a look around and take a breather for ourselves, you know, and that's okay. So thank you guys for sitting here with me these few minutes, and I hope there was something that you took away from it. And as always, you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.